it, and it's magnetic.
Yes.
And you become more visible.
Yes.
And you radiate more light.
Uh-huh. You're absolutely right.
Right?
Yes.
And people get attracted to you.
Yes.
Right, because of your frequency.
We've dialed up the frequency.
Yes, we've dialed up the frequency because I believe this whole lifetime is about fully flourishing. I believe we have come here to be in our magnificence, to be spacious. And we all have a unique way of being spacious. And as we step into that, that knowing, that wisdom,
Yes.
we attract other people. We attract guides and teachers. We attract love. We attract God.
We do. Well, look what's sitting in the studio today.
Yes.
Guides and teachers. Hello.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're surrounding you, and now they're surrounding me today.
Yes.
Beautiful, isn't it?
It's lovely.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
It's lovely.
And you trust in it, and not only that, you have fun with it.
Yes.
It's fun.
Yes, because you grow in your knowing.
Yeah.
And your knowing is to allow yourself to be magnetized by your soul agreements and your soul's purpose, because it's easier.
Oh yeah, you don't fight
easier.
it.
Well, some people do.
Well, I know, we see it all around us.
Exactly.
My son is wonderful. He says, just let go, Mom. Let go. And then the next thing is, his next line is, let go, send love.
Hey, we'll have him on as a guest.
He's almost old enough, but not quite. I told him, I said, don't tell just tell him you're adopted. You know? How did you're doing wonderful work. You're writing wonderful things that really help people.
I hope so.
Oh yeah, that's your purpose. Now, way back, I always say in 1902, and then I had to explain that one to you.
Yes, I took it literally.
I know you did. Way back in 1902, how did you get started?
Started in writing.
Yes.
Well, I was a journal keeper. I taught English, first of all.
Aha.
So I taught people how to write.
Okay.
Okay, I've always kept a journal. I've kept a journal since I was 22.
Okay.
So I have a lot of journals. And I started writing basically to keep myself honest.
Honest in what way?
Just honest with myself.
Okay.
So I wrote what I was really thinking and feeling and doing in my life in my journals.
Okay.
Okay, so I could track themes. I could track who I was, you know,
And what
who
you
I
were
was
thinking.
and who I was becoming.
Yes, of course.
Okay, and choices I made and choices I didn't make. When my son died, I continued keeping a journal.
Oh, excellent.
And a lot of my journaling during those first 2 or 3 years, I was 33 when Mike died, and I had never known anyone who had died. So I was a young 33. No one in my family had died.
Okay.
No friends had died. So I was
Huge loss.
I was pretty innocent in terms of the demands that grief makes.
Yeah.
And
That's interesting. The demands that grief makes.
yeah,
What are they?
energy,
Yes.
basically.
Yes.
Paying attention to what's being asked of you as a survivor.
Okay.
I tuned into my son after he left. For me, dead is an empty word. I connect with people who have crossed over as inspirited ones.
I gotcha.
Because energy continues to move. It doesn't just end.
I know.
And I also, my daughter was 2.5.
Oh.
So there was a way I was called to tend to both
Yes.
of my children.
I hear you.
And grief makes demands, especially when it's unfamiliar and unknown. I was a therapist at the time, and needed to be in therapy, and nobody really wanted to see me at that time because my grief was really huge.
Okay.
And my grief reminded them of
Sure, of some
it
grief
could happen to them.
Yes.
So I turned to my journals, and I just wrote and wrote
Wrote
and
and
wrote. And
Right.
what I wanted were mother's stories. That's what I wanted. I wanted to know it was possible.
Oh, has this happened to you, is
Right.
what you're saying.
Exactly. And Elizabeth Kubler-Ross was just beginning to do her teaching about grieving and moving on. I wanted mother's stories. I wanted to know it was possible to reinvest in love.
Yes.
Here's the love theme again. To reinvest in love and reinvest in life. My daughter needed a mother
Absolutely.
that was present.
That was present.
That was present.
Yes.
Rather than grief burdened. And
Right. It happens often. I see parents.
it does happen often.
Yeah, and these little kids don't deserve this.
No,
Right.
exactly.
No.
And so I ended up writing the book I most wanted to read. In my head, Healing Grief, A Mother's Story, I still call it Mike's book.
Oh, how lovely.
It's journal entries from 7 years of moving through grief, and it gets to mothers and dads who are going through the process, so they get to know it's possible
Yes.
to reinvest, which is a huge hope when you're in the midst of grieving over a child, especially a sudden death.
Absolutely. A child, period.
Yes.
You know, we need to know that the light at the end of the tunnel is not a freight train coming,
Exactly.
that there is hope.
Exactly.
And you've experienced it, so you could write from the heart. Okay.
Oh, the book is really very raw because I didn't edit it.
Good for you.
I did not edit it.
It was the journal.
It was the journal. It was the journal.
Powerful words.
It was definitely probably the most deepening experience of my life.
But you also allowed people to know you can come out of it
Yeah.
and function.
Yeah. Yeah. I pretty much I pretty much in the book outlined my process, both my healing process, my creative process,
Okay.
my grieving process, and my healing process.
So what's the name of the book we need to know?
The name of the book is Healing Grief,
Okay.
A Mother's Story.
Okay. Still out there someplace, or do we know?
Amazon. You can get it from Amazon.
People need to know.
I published it myself.
Okay.
And I rounded the corners of the book because it's such a, I mean, it's every parent's worst nightmare.
Of course it is.
And I wanted the book to be a little softer, so I rounded the edges.
I love it.
And then found out that 15th century hymnals all
that
had
too?
rounded corners.
Nothing is new, is it?
Nothing is
nothing
new.
is new. No, amazing. Isn't it amazing where life takes us?
Yes, I think it's amazing what life asks of us and what life gives us.
Okay. What life asks of us?
Yeah. Well, like life asked of me to be a grandmother, a resident grandmother. Life asked of me to bury my firstborn son.
Yes.
And those were wild cards.
Yeah, they're
Those
wild
were
cards.
surprises. Those were
were
places I was not in control of.
Well, it would never have crossed your mind.
Exactly.
You know, because we
Exactly.
think of da-da-da-da-da, and you and I come from a place in time that, you know, that Disney crap about it should be wonderful and everything should go well. And unfortunately, some of us bought into it.
Yeah, and I think when I was growing up, there's like a psychological script. It's called Daddy's Girl.
Aha.
And I bought into Daddy's Girl, and Daddy's Girls were daughters that looked at their mom and dad and thought their dad's life was much more exciting
Then their moms.
than their moms. And so daddy's girls went to college, which I did. I graduated in 3 years because I was intuitive, so I knew what was on the test. And I really didn't want to be in college because I was a mother at the same time.
Okay.
And at some point, daddy's girls, I mean, their brains grow really big, and they're smart.
Yes.
And they're sharp. At some time, they realize that they've missed out on nurturing. And
you know what we need to do?
surrendering.
Our time is up here.
All right.
It's sad. Will you hold on just a minute?
I will.
Will you come back?
Sure.
Good.
Especially if they come back with me.
Well, we'll ask them they. I wish to thank Rosie for sharing with us her successes, motivations, insight, wisdom, and true understanding. If you know of someone like this one over here, we would like to know them too. Please email us at don'tretireinspire@yahoo.com. We would love to have them on the show. Now, please, you have to promise me now you'll come back.
Sure.
We're going to do the thing there. What do we say to those people out there? What inspires you? Let's go.
What inspires you?
Good girl.
Please visit my website at www.heart-soul-healing.com. I have all kinds of goodies on my website to inspire you and ground you and help you to remember all of who you are. Thank you for inviting me.